impact. A loss, but a much improved performance. You must be happy with.
Yeah, mate, extremely proud of their effort and the way they went about their business tonight, the boys. I definitely think the week helps us. You know, we could work on some defensive principles in our shape, and I thought the young guys applied them really well. So super proud, mate, but obviously disappointed we didn't get the win, but the positives far outweigh that result.
And you started 4-4-2 again. Obviously, you said before you want to set yourself up for try and win later in the game or the second half. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But again, happy with that system?
To be honest, mate, I'm just looking at the opposition at the moment and seeing with what we have, the best way that we can try and compete and stay in the games. We've got a squad at the moment that's basically an NPL team plus whatever's left standing. And I know I keep saying it week in, week out, but we're travelling over here on the plane and a guy comes up to us at the back of the plane and says, "Oh, is this your youth team? Where are you guys playing?" And then we explain to him that it's the A-League team, and he's like, "Oh, geez, they look young." So, formations and structures at the moment are certainly not my focus. Principles of play, effort, mentality, leadership, young guys stepping up to the plate. They're my focuses at the moment, and that's where we're going to stay for the rest of this season.
I guess bit by bit, there's been an improvement, and you say you had a couple of extra training sessions, but is it the mentality thing? Because a couple of extra training sessions really don't change a lot, do they?
I'm not sure what your experience is in terms of playing professional sport, but if you're on the road playing a game every 3 days, against A-League quality opposition, with a youth team, then yeah, those extra 3 sessions really do help. So, we were barely getting 1 session in between those games. This week we had, 3 proper sessions on the grass to work on, what we want to implement. And there were patches of that tonight, and that's what pleases me most, is that a lot of information was taken on. We're still cramming, because my philosophy and vision for the team, it's clear. It's very clear, and I know exactly what I want, but it doesn't make it easy for these young players to try and, grasp all of that straight away. And in fact, it's actually some of the senior ones, that are obviously taking on the information and trying to adjust, from what they were doing before. So I think as a whole, mate, collectively tonight, I thought we were really, really good, and we probably deserved something out of the game. But it comes down to quality, especially in that front third, and we're just lacking a little bit there at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And then I think you gave another youngster, as far as I'm concerned, my age, but a youngster, a starting debut, and then another one debut off the bench.
We had 2 starting debuts tonight, and I thought both of those boys were outstanding. Again, let's pick one. Let's pick young Joseph Ford. Spent about 18 months with him. Now, when I arrived at the club, he was a player that was obviously quite clever on the ball, and he's got a lot of skills, but he was a player that didn't really know how to defend or want to defend. We had a hole at left back, so it was a perfect situation to teach him some defensive principles, and really shape him as an asset, down the track as a well-rounded professional footballer. I look at him tonight on debut, away at Coopers against a quality Adelaide side. And yes, he had a couple of moments in the first half where he, didn't quite recognise the danger or showed the player the wrong way. And yes, the boy at the end scores a worldie on his side. But as a whole, his performance was exceptional, and he's come a hell of a long way, and I'm extremely proud of him and the other boy, Tyler Vecchio, making his starting debut up front. Aidan Edwards made his debut off the bench. To give some context to that, he's a player that he's our longest serving academy player. He's been with the club 9 years, from under 12s all the way through, whatever it is. And he's had hardships. He's had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 ACLs, groin problems, surgeries. I remember driving him myself to the appointment last year when he had a partial tear again in his ACL. I remember the tears of joy when the surgeon said he doesn't need another operation. These are the stories, these are the journeys of these players that not everyone knows about. I'm extremely proud of him, perseverance more than anything, perseverance and resilience, as a young man to aspire to want to play professional football and stay that long in the game before he makes his debut off the bench. And, like I say, there are bigger positives right now for us than the result, and those boys that made their debut tonight, I'm extremely proud of them.
And just one more, mate, Liam Reddy turned back the years a bit today.
The Godfather, he just keeps giving, doesn't he, mate? When he's chopping and turning in the 6-yard box, at 1-0, He's doing his best to make whatever hair I have left on my chin fall out. But again, he led the boys extremely well this week. He's been a player that, since I've been in this position, has stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, I'm going to try and help guide these youngsters, and I'm going to stick to what we're trying to do, and that's all you can ask of the senior pros. So, I thought he made some really good saves, and again, his leadership more than anything was what the standout was for me.
Thanks, mate. See you when you get back.
Cheers, mate. See you soon.
Cheers, Nick. Val, do you have questions for Ruben?
Yeah, just one, Ruben. There was a period in the game where you actually did score. I saw the VAR, and the decision didn't appear to be correct. It looked like an Adelaide player actually passed the ball backwards. How did you see it?
Mate, I didn't actually see that incident well enough, and I haven't seen a replay yet, so I can't really comment. But what I can say is it just shows how close we are. It just shows how close we are, and I keep saying the same things, that the result's not the most important thing, and I think, moments like that, you get that luck and you get that rub of the green when you're high up the ladder. When you're last and when the chips are down, you don't seem to get those decisions, and I know the decisions will come, and I know the results will come, and I'm firmly fixed on, not so much worrying about whether it was a goal or wasn't a goal. I'm firmly fixed on what the long-term future is for our club, and that's to win games of football on a regular basis. And I saw enough tonight, especially playing through the back third and the mid third. Some of our rotations, some of our patterns of play, there's enough there for me to know that we're on the right track, and we're just at the very start of building a successful team again. So, I was happy tonight, mate. I was happy, irrespective of that moment. I was happy, and it's a shame that Big Josh Anasmo didn't get to do his famed celebration and go and celebrate, because he deserves it. He's another kid he's come from nowhere, mate. He's come from absolutely nowhere, and players in the team are supporting him. He's not getting paid at the moment. He's just on a youth development agreement. So here he is travelling with us. Teammates are shouting him coffees and lunch, and I'm buying his boots and the rest of it, and that's because he's given everything of himself for the team and for the club, and he'll be one for the future, but he's got a long, long way to go. But I was disappointed he didn't get the goal, put it that way.
Thanks.
Thanks to the guys on the Zoom. Please put yourselves on mute. Over to the room, Cameron.
Ruben, when you had a tough loss last week and then a loss tonight, what do you say to such a young side, or what do you do to keep their confidence and belief up?
Firstly, my confidence and belief never wavers through tough times. Nothing I've had in the game has ever been easy. Nothing was given to me. I always had to earn it. And I've got in this position through hard work. I didn't get here through luck. So I'm familiar with those tough times and what it takes in professional sport. I think sharing some of that unwavering belief onto the boys means that they're able to stay resilient and resolute through the adversity. And, not just myself, but other players in the squad and other staff members holding their head, their chest out and their shoulders back, and holding their head up high through the adversity is a really difficult thing. We're lucky at this club. We've got a lot of really good people that'll stick through the tough times. I mean, the fans again tonight, that group of supporters come out here. We're bottom of the league. It'd be well within their rights to not turn up and wear their Perth Glory shirt. But like I've said a few times, fans in Perth, especially at the club, they're resilient. And there are staff members and players that are showing those same attributes. My job as a leader is to make sure that we're really clear on the long-term plan and don't let those results, hinder or distract us from what we want to achieve. When I think about it, if other A-League teams were taking their NPL side, plus 4 or 5 senior pros on the road and playing 7 games in 21 days, 5 of them away from home, travelling, then the results, are put in perspective really clearly. We know those reasons. We know, what we're up against. And this week we had, like I say, a really good week. You wouldn't think we were bottom of the table the way the boys trained and the way they went about their business tonight. Had a glowing comment actually from a top-class footballer from Adelaide, off the pitch. One day he said to us that the boys moved the ball around really well and made it really difficult, and he said that it was a really good football performance from our boys. So people can see it. I can certainly see it, and I'm proud of the boys for bouncing back after that difficult loss last week. And to be honest, I'm still down in the dressing rooms barking orders and barking at young players to be better, because we could have got something out of that game. And with just a little bit more quality and composure, we could have got something out of that game. And I'm not going to accept a loss, but I'll wear it proudly if the effort's good.
Does it make it easier to actually embed the principles that you want when you've worked with some of the young guys?
Correct. So I've said this a few times, and it's not having a go at anyone, but some of the players on that pitch, the young ones, have been with me now for over a year and a half. And, you know, like it did with the youth team, it took time. You know, I think 5 rounds into our NPL season, my first year in the job at Glory, we were, you know, down the bottom of the ladder. And, you know, the principles took time to implement. Once we implemented them, we went on a long string of really good results and kept a lot of clean sheets. I think 8 or 9 clean sheets in the last 13 games, you know, and climbed the ladder at a really rapid rate. So for some of the A-League boys and the ones that are in charge and there's a change of manager, it's obviously a difficult time. And it's hard then because you get a clash of cultures and a clash of styles and a clash of philosophies. And they've had to adapt really quick. And it's been difficult because of the lack of time on the grass. So we're kind of cramming information that keeps them competitive. But it's actually been some of the young ones that know the way we want to play and the way we want to do it that are doing it best. And then the senior ones have been great because they're willing to learn, which I think is, right now is, let's be honest, the season's kind of dead and buried for us, but the future of the club is what's most important. So we stay focused on improving at the moment.
Do you think it's important that this young group can experience a couple wins just from now until the end of the season, just to get that feeling?
Yeah, but they have to earn it. So right now, you know, through effort, they're giving themselves a chance, but through a lack of quality, you know, they're probably not quite good enough to go and get themselves over the line and get a result, which is good because it means that they have to stick to the principles of what it takes to be a professional footballer, and that is the constant, you know, struggle and the constant yearning to be better. And I know the group well, and I know those young guys. They're a very, very tough group, and they're wearing the pressures of professional football really well in my eyes, especially tonight. And they'll continue to grow, and the wins will come, not just for those young ones, but for the club, and they'll come because of the boys willing to work and willing to improve and dig themselves out of this situation, which will put them in really good stead, you know, for their careers long term.